She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are
the Book Besties.
This might put me on the hoe bag stage. Mom, don't listen to this episode.
He leaned his arm on the wall and put the other arm like around me and pulled me in and kissed me.
But don't want to sleep with her because girl parts are icky.
These two just fucked all the time.
No thanks. I don't want penis. Back again! Yes, I got a real voice and everything, fuckers. You're screwed.
Oh my gosh.
I missed your face.
I missed your face.
Oh my God, I have to tell you.
But Katie and I had so much fun though.
I know, I fucking heard you. And you know how mad I was that neither of you could fucking remember Saved? I was listening to the episode, behind the scenes stuff, guys. I pre-listen to the episode on Sunday and then schedule it. I was listening to the episode and you're trying to explain to her about this movie with Mandy Moore and Macaulay Culkin. And I'm like, Saved. Oh my God, it's Saved. I cannot believe she does not know of this fucking movie. This movie's amazing. How does Katie not know?
I just feel you got a taste of what Katie gets every week.
I know, but she probably gets mad about more like medical technical things.
Oh no, she just gets mad at like all of it.
But yes, I'm glad to be back.
So last episode, we've taken a week off now. We've had Thanksgiving. We're filming before Thanksgiving, guys. But at this point, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, we had Thanksgiving. So the last episode, I announced our books that we were going to end the season with. However, we had that author come through. So we cut one of the books. We'll go over the whole list at the end. But in case you haven't heard, Olivia Dade is coming on Book Besties.
Olivia motherfucking Dade.
Our text messages in our groups are always Olivia motherfucking Dade. We don't call her Olivia Dade.
You're a goddamn icon in our world, babe. Yes. An icon in our world.
Yes.
Because you write smart, beautifully, and kind. And that doesn't fucking happen in romance, my guys.
Oh my gosh. And she writes women that look
real
like me. They're big and they're still sexy, and I love
real women.
Yeah.
She makes me feel seen. I may not be always. I've been heavy set. I have been big, and I feel uncomfortable in my body all the time.
Yeah.
She makes all women feel seen. No offense.
Yeah.
She makes all women feel seen.
All women feel seen. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I cannot believe.
Beautiful.
Do you realize that when we started this year, so we're in season 7 now, we're wrapping up season 7, but in season 6, which was in February, it kicked off. So the beginning of this year, beginning of 2024.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, continue.
We met with Nikki Payne. Okay. Was last season, right? Am I missing?
No, for the first time or the second time?
The second time.
Yes.
We talked about Sex, Lies, and Sensibility. Okay, so we interviewed her, and she asked me who was Endgame for me. And I told her Endgame for me was Olivia Dade. And when I emailed Olivia and asked her if she would come on our podcast, I told her, someone asked me recently who would be my Endgame, and I told them it was you. And she agreed to come on.
I know. I'm pretty fucking stoked. Not as stoked as you.
I'm so excited.
Stoked as you. I did do a victory run through the house, screaming Olivia fucking Dade. But
but you know what? This brings me to the stream I had this week.
Oh Jesus! Now what?
I've had a few nightmares of anxiety.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've been having nightmares lately. Did I die again?
No, but I did have a dream that I talked to you about ending the pod.
Shut your mouth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Well, because in my dream we were at the end of season 8,
which is planned already, guys.
We already have season 8 planned. We have some really great authors coming on again next season.
I'm pretty excited.
But we were at the end of season 8, and we were preparing for Annapolis Book Festival, which we hope to be back at again next year.
We'll be back. I'm not giving them a choice. I'm going to set up in the maker space no matter what, Trish. I hope you're aware. I'm
We're
just
gonna be
coming.
there, whether you like it or not.
I will go down to the author's lounge and steal authors.
We will.
I know where everything is. I will just wear my Book Besties shirt and look official. People just give me things when I look official. Anyways, continue what you were saying.
So we were preparing for Annapolis Book Festival, and I was asking you, do you want to go again in 2026? And the reason I was asking you was because I was preparing for us to end at season 10.
Oh, really?
And I didn't want us to go back to Annapolis during the season that we would just be ending.
Oh, because all we would do is be crying the whole time.
Yes, exactly.
Well, my husband...
For the record, I woke up before we made a decision, so I don't know. Besties live forever.
Besties for life.
Besties never say die!
So, Matt has had this thing, and he's been saying it, and he's been giving us 5 years. He goes, Molly, it's going to take you guys 5 years. And I go, how do you know this? And he goes, 5 years till you're big. 5 years till you've made it. And I go, why do you think that? And he goes, I just have this feeling. And then I go, okay. And then I came and started running around about Olivia, and he goes, what year is it? And I go, year 4. And he goes, next year. And he just walks away, and I go, what does that mean, Matthew Biggs? What does that mean?
We are in year 3. We started in 2021.
Technically, we started planning in 2020.
We started planning in 2020, but we didn't start until 2021.
Okay. If you want to get technical.
Well, I'm trying.
I know you're saying. So, I got to go see Wicked early.
I'm going tomorrow.
I got to go see Wicked early.
How was it?
Amazing. Both Biggs girls enjoyed it. And we can't agree on anything right now with teenagers. So, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
You know what my issue is? You know what my issue is with Wicked?
Oh, no. What is it?
I feel like I would have just preferred them just have Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth do it, because I don't care how old they are Glinda and Elphaba. Now, I get it. There have been many people to take on these characters, and that's fine with me. I'm not a fan of Ariana Grande. Oh. She is a fantastic impressionist. And
she's an actress.
Impressionist. From everything that I have seen, she is playing Glinda as if she's doing an impression of Kristen Chenoweth playing Glinda.
That's the thing. She's a mimic, right?
Yeah.
And part of her persona is what Paris Hilton does. Paris Hilton has 2 voices. Ariana has 2 voices.
We watched the same documentary.
We've watched the same documentary. What I think it is I think Ariana Grande is putting on a performance her whole life. Because if that tiny, petite, little sprite of a woman sounded masculine and deep like this, nobody would want to buy sexy dance music from her. So she has to do the voice. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, she was a child star, and, part of what she did was sketch shows on Nickelodeon. And that's when she started becoming an impressionist. And she's a very good impressionist.
Oh, yeah.
She could be on the cast of SNL and be successful. But I
she's very successful when she does go on SNL.
I know. She's one of their favorite guests. But I don't particularly care for her or her voice. And I don't particularly want her to be Glinda.
I really liked her Glinda.
She got it.
I really like
because she's playing Glinda. Kristen Chenoweth being Glinda.
I think it's not, but I can't say anything without spoilers.
Okay, fine. I'll talk to you about this tomorrow after I see it.
You talk to me after you've seen it. Talk to me after you've seen it. Okay, can we talk about icebreakers now?
Well, first of all, it's only icebreaker singular.
God damn it. How is it I add an S to everything?
I do it too. When it's like an Ohio thing. I mean, I don't know why you do it being from upstate New York, but we do the Myers, the Krogers. We add the S and we add the
everything.
The.
Everything's plural. Yeah, everything has multiples.
I got to go to the Sears. I got to go to the Krogers. I don't know why we do that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just do it.
All right, so
It's
we're
a
talking
northern
about this
thing.
book. We're talking about this book,
Icebreaker.
Icebreaker by Hanna Grace. No, it does not have an S.
Hanna Grace's? I'm going to my room now. I'm sorry.
And we're done. So this book is all over TikTok, Instagram. It's super popular
for almost a year now.
Yeah, it's been one that we've had rolling around on our TBR for a while. It got bumped from season 5 because honestly we were tired and we had to remove one of our books. But it's in this season. Would you like a synopsis?
I would love a synopsis, please.
Okay, so synopsis. Ready?
Synopsis.
Anastasia Allen has big Olympic dreams for her and her skating partner, Erin Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
The two have been pair skating at the University of California, Maple Hills, since freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
But when the men's hockey team, led by Captain Nate Hawkins, lose their rink due to a prank war and have to move into the skating team's rank, Anastasia's dreams might just come crashing down. Or maybe she'll fuck him, and then they'll end up allies. Who knows? There you go. That's the synopsis.
I have one bell ringer I want to start before anything.
Who the fuck is my bell? Okay.
How the fuck are you fitting this many sports arenas in LA? That place is packed full of shit already.
Do you know what was a huge plot hole for me? It wasn't even this many sports arenas in LA. There was an arena down the street where the hockey team could have played, or where Anastasia and her partner could have skated, because Anastasia worked there. Like, why couldn't they use that one?
Plot holes full of plot holes.
Yeah. Listen, this book for me is like reading a Tessa Bailey. Okay? So you don't have a great story. You have really good spice. But there's just no substance. That is not what I want to read. I like Olivia Dade. I want a story. I like a slow burn that has a point. These two just fucked all the time.
I mean, they were college kids. Can we go to questions? That might help our structure.
I don't know. Fuck it. All right, this book is...
Screw it. We're just going to tell you the whole story, guys.
We are. This book has been on our TBR for a long time. It is all over Spice Talk and is a constant recommendation. We actually have been recommended it a few times by fans.
Also, I'm seeing middle schoolers and high schoolers carrying this book. Remind your parents, if there's a cartoon on the cover, it doesn't mean it's for children.
I know this looks cute, but that's not for kids. All right.
Tricks are, though.
I really enjoy sports romance drama. Oh my gosh, fucking hell. I really enjoy sports romance genre. But I'm curious what your take on this one was.
I like sports romance when it's in a movie. I have not
Oh my gosh, what the fuck is wrong with us?
I have not found a sports romance I like yet.
You need to read Elle Kennedy, and you haven't, and that's the problem.
Okay, we'll get to that later. The Wall of Winnipeg was so goddamn long.
It was unnecessarily long.
Like Lord of the Rings long.
Oh my gosh.
This
very long.
We have content, but it doesn't. I don't know.
Why is this book 429 pages?
The story is dragged out. Not everything's connected right. The guy, the meme with the map and the guy's like, okay, you know what I'm talking about, guys? All right. I feel like she had that wall for this, but she kept taking lines down, but forget how to connect the story together. And I feel too old for this book also at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I've read quite a few like sports romances that take place in college. Like the Elle Kennedy series, they're college students. I did not feel gross reading those. This one I feel really gross. Like I feel like an intruder. Okay, so this might put me on the hoe bag stage. Mom, don't listen to this episode.
remember these days. I remember my 20s. I remember sleeping with people to sleep with people. Like, I get that. But I am no longer that person. So I don't feel like it's too much. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much.
Yeah. I was never that person, as we've established on this pod.
None of us has to be the hoe bag. You couldn't be. That's okay. I took care of it for us.
First of all, I could have been. There wasn't a couldn't. There were people. There were men. There were
I'm not
men
saying there wasn't.
You make it sound like nobody wanted me at
No,
all.
No. That's not what I mean.
People wanted me, Molly.
I'm not saying people didn't want you. I'm saying you had common sense and were like, no thanks. I don't want penis. And I think that might have been smart.
I don't know that was what it was so much as growing up in a church in the 90s where they told me
that too. That if you gave your flower away, like Ugly Betty, if you crush your flower.
They never called it a flower.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's your gift.
It's your gift.
You can only give it to one person.
That's wild. It's a messy gift. Nobody wants that mess.
For young people who are going through that is religious trauma.
Yeah.
And it's not even biblical. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, like, I enjoy the fact that I've had one partner and that partner is really good.
You love him, and he's amazing to you.
He's really good. And he satisfies me just fine. Not just fine, Tom. Very well. You're very good. You're very good, sir.
Ups, boy. Good ups.
Listen, yesterday, he did an arm lean on
la, la, la.
It wasn't sex.
I was joking.
He leaned his arm on the wall and put the other arm like around me and pulled me in and kissed me, and I almost came just standing up, getting a hug and kiss from my husband. It was sexy as hell. Anyway, so it's religious trauma and it's not biblical because the majority of the men in the Bible had multiple wives.
Well, also, when we sit and tell someone, don't do this, you're also telling kids to ignore their natural urges, right? Their hormones are insane.
What I think the issue is, and I don't know,
something
we don't need to get into this whole thing, but what I think the bigger issue is it's a very adult thing, and there are real adult consequences that come with sex.
Absolutely.
And actually, this is a good part of this book. There's a whole discussion in here of them not using condoms. And that there are adult consequences. And when they stopped using condoms, and the fact that her skating coach had to drop out of her Olympic dream because she got pregnant, I actually texted you and I was like, there better not be a pregnancy.
I don't do pregnancy tropes.
Well, I mean, spoiler, she does get
pregnant. But it's not the way we think about it, though.
Right. But I just, there's real adult consequences that come with sex.
And it's not just physical, it's emotional too. Like, yes. It is emotional too. Look, I've said, Molly was a yard tool. I was considered things. And let me tell you, it didn't always have happy consequences. Like, emotionally, I have been heartbroken. Mm-hmm. Emotionally, I have been damaged by some of these relationships. Now, there's a line in Florida that Florence sings, about washing away all the bodies that's ever been on my body. If you've ever regretted a partner or regret your actions when you can understand this, but yeah. And we're getting a little deep here, kiddos, but the grown-up side of this isn't always fun. Don't let these cartoon books tell you otherwise. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess this is what a lot of people do in college. It wasn't my college experience because I was in Campus Crusade and still being told to kiss dating goodbye. So
that's weird.
There's a whole book, I Kiss Dating Goodbye. It's not for this pod, but if you
Right.
are curious, I'll link below the article. The author of I Kiss Dating Goodbye absolutely renounces that statement now and feels very guilty for the religious trauma that it caused to so many young
They
people.
absolutely should.
Mm-hmm.
Because
shortly after writing that book, he actually met his wife. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are so far off motherfucking track.
Let's get back to this.
Anastasia has a complicated relationship with her skating partner and roommate, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
They have been skating together for 3 years, and their dynamic is kind of toxic. So I want to know your feelings on Aaron.
Aaron is emotionally abusive.
I think he's actually physically abusive. I don't believe her that he didn't know he was starving her.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew he was starving her. He was making comments about how heavy she was to lift, and yet he was lifting double her size in the weight room.
In the weight room when she wasn't around. It's bullshit.
He was abusing her.
He was absolutely abusing her, and he was using money to control her, and like she was in an abusive marriage without ever being married.
Yeah,
and that is just devastating.
And he was so able to control her because they lived together. So he had control over everything she did. And the thing is that he consistently told her she would not be successful without him. And she believed it.
But that's because...
That's an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Because why would he lie to her? He cares about her. Why would
Honestly,
he lie to
it's like being in an abusive boyfriend, girlfriend, partner relationship. It's like that.
They just had no sex.
They didn't have sex,
which he wanted anyways.
It was very obvious the reason that he was pulling all his jealousy shit was because he wanted her.
And
he never blatantly says it, but they do.
But he called her a hoe constantly. He constantly called her terrible
because
things.
If you want a woman and you can't have her, then she's either a hoe or she must be a lesbian. Because,
How many times have been called that? Yup. We've all been there, haven't we?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Aaron was a really problematic character for me, and I feel like how his story ended in here was just so inappropriate. He just gets transferred to another university. Fuck that. That would not happen. That would absolutely not happen.
Not today.
Skating career would be over.
Not today, but in the 90s, like
that's
early
not
2000s.
when this book doesn't take place in the 90s, though.
It would have definitely been in other times. This 100% would have been swept under the rug. 100%.
And I'm not saying that even today universities wouldn't put something like this under the rug, but they're not going to transfer you to another university. That's not
even locally.
You don't just transfer universities, because it's not like public school. It's not like I got expelled so I can just transfer to another school. That's not how this works.
His parents do have a lot of money, and they do buy his way out of a lot of trouble.
That's fair.
A lot of trouble. So
that's fair. Although, I know that his parents were having marital issues, but
always.
I can't imagine that his mom, knowing Anastasia, because she did, wouldn't stand up for her a little bit. Listen, if my kids pulled this shit, I would not take their side. I would love them completely. I would love them completely and fully, but
I tell the girls, I tell the girls, I go, you murder someone, I'm gonna love you, but I'm gonna get on your dick about it, because what the fuck? You're not raised like this. You're not raised like this. So yeah,
kids have dicks, but okay.
Metaphoric. Metaphoric.
My kids do.
But yeah, not my job though. I will yell at your kids if I need to, but not my job right now.
When we first meet Anastasia, she's in a no-strings-attached friends with benefits relationship with a basketball player named Ryan. Anastasia is a self-professed commitment phobe. She views sex as casual, and she doesn't have attachments to anybody she sleeps with. What did you think about her sexual choices? I think we kind of already covered this, but...
Look, I've had a friends with benefits relationship before. I'm still friends with him today. I see how their relationship...
without the benefits?
Yeah, we were friends with benefits. That and him and I decided together that we were done with that part of us. We both wanted to move on to other things in our lives, but we still liked our friendship. And so now we don't have the benefits part, but we still are in communication. We're still friends. And
it was interesting to me, to your point. It was interesting to me because this is not what you see in media. When they have a friends with benefits relationship, almost every single, honestly, this is the only one that I've seen that it was like, we're going to stay friends. We're just not going to have the benefits. And they were both happy for each other when they went on to other relationships.
That's what I'm used to. Like, that's realistic to me. That was one of the most realistic things in this, because
it doesn't feel realistic to me because my heart lives in my vagina.
Right. I look at sex differently than most people. I know that. And it feels like to me like my heart does sometimes live in my vagina when it comes to certain people, but if I've designated a specific thing, like my situation in the past, I can detach because I know that that's the point of it, right? And her and Aaron always were clear about what they were. They were always clear about their friendship.
Ryan,
and look,
not Aaron.
Ryan's the skater. But Ryan's like,
Aaron's the skater.
Yeah, Aaron's the skater. But like, he's always going to be her best friend. He's always going to be her best friend. So they slept together. I mean, it happens.
It is not a dynamic that I understand. My heart lives in my vagina.
Okay, Lexi Gray.
I know. You've said that to me multiple times, though.
I indeed have. But it's not wrong.
It is very true. In addition to the main couple, we have a few side characters that are also very lovable. My personal favorite was Henry. Did you have a favorite?
I liked Henry. I loved JJ.
JJ was so funny.
I love the team in general. I love that we took the toxic masculinity out of sports because, look, that's more what I'm used to. I'm not used to the dickhead football players. I'm used to the track kids who are funny and are friends with everybody and like hang out.
I could have done without the story of Robbie, and I can't even think of her best friend's name, but the girl best friend of hers that was dating Robbie. Like, I could have done without their story. It would have been much more similar to like the Elle Kennedy series then, because like they do all live together and all that kind of stuff. But I could have done without their story. I thought JJ was really funny. I was very confused, and I actually have this in my notes to talk about later, but I was very confused because at one point JJ talks about liking men, but it's so close to the end of the book, and like the whole time
JJ,
the whole time I remember JJ talking about how all the girls want him and how he never has a problem getting anybody, and like studying Henry because all the girls flock to him. And then I'm like, wait, is he gay? Is he bi? Like, when did this happen? Like, it just kind of came out of left field. But what I loved about Henry, he talks about how he's at one point he's like, you think I've never been in a fight before? I have 2 moms, I play hockey, and I'm an art major.
He's like, look at me.
I have 2 moms and do art. That would be enough. But he also plays hockey. So of course he'd been in a fight.
I want to say Lola. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does. That's exactly what her name was.
Okay, I can stop looking now. Lola.
I could have done without their story.
Like, obviously, in a college romance, we need a female best friend for the female main character because a female main character can't not have a female best friend. She just can't.
But I didn't think their story was interesting. Although, hold on a second.
Making him still a part of the team after his accident and putting him in a wheelchair and making him disabled was an interesting choice. I'm not saying, I just don't know if it was necessary for the storyline to move forward, you know?
This is the sequel.
Wildfire. Who is it about?
Russ Callaghan and Aurora Roberts.
Right?
Russ was the guy that he was the one that
got in trouble. The freshman. Yeah, the freshman that was sleeping with the guy from the other team's girlfriend.
Yeah.
The reason he was the freshman. Yeah.
I've heard this one is better, and I am looking forward to reading it because even though I didn't really enjoy Icebreaker, it is a brain break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can power through one of these and just be like,
yeah. It definitely turns the brain off. It's definitely an enjoyable read. If you're looking for content and
it's not this.
It's not this. If you're looking for sex, spice, and humor, you got it.
Yeah. But I prefer to pick up Olivia Dade, Allie Hazelwood, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, our new friend, Emma Berry.
Mm-hmm. Emma Berry's smart. Oh my God, she's smart.
I'm so excited to see her again in January. My library here, she's going to be doing an event, and
That's really nice.
So excited. She's just a lovely person. She's really lovely.
Her brain's amazing.
She's really lovely. So anyway, Henry was my favorite. I also like JJ. I could have done without all the rest of the characters. Like, I don't.
Oh, I liked that the team.
Actually, I liked her coach too.
Yeah, her coach was hilarious.
Somehow had a Russian accent, even though she was from Pennsylvania.
She wasn't
from. She was from Montana.
Seattle, Montana. That's it. Oh no, I don't know. I sound Canadian half the time, so you know.
But you're from upstate New York, so that makes sense.
Practically Canada.
Mm-hmm. All right. At some point in this book, Aaron gets injured and cannot skate. Due to the hockey coach threatening to bench the entire team, Nate confesses to injuring Aaron even though he didn't do it. Nate is banned from playing until Aaron can skate. Since Anastasia still needs to practice for nationals, Nate agrees to skate with her. Thoughts?
Hockey players not just going to be able to fucking jump into this. Like,
no.
It's
a totally different type of skating.
Him searching for leggings was fucking hilarious, though.
I like the fact that he came out of the dressing room and the coach was like, "You can't wear
that." Nope.
Just
I'll put shorts on.
All on display.
He's like, she told me I had to wear them. What was he gonna come out in? Like his fucking hockey pants, in a cup?
Well, he was wearing sweats before. He should have just kept doing that. Like, why did he need to invest in leggings when
because you have
short term?
Because you have to have tight clothing on so nothing catches and somebody doesn't get hurt.
Okay, that does make sense. Look, I've ice skated quite a few times because what?
I pay attention a smidge.
I have ice skated several times because I'm from Ohio and I went to school in a big hockey town, but I am absolutely terrified to fall and have someone cut my fingers off. So
I am
ice skating for me it's not my favorite. I've done it. It's not my
I used to go to the roller rink as a kid. Like that was like the big thing.
Roller skating love.
We used to go to Lake Bonin, if you know. And I'd bust ass there. So when it came around the winter season to ice skate, I just respectfully declined because there was a good chance I would probably just fall through the water.
Which happens to Anastasia.
Because me.
I just don't feel like a hockey player is going to be able to skate with the elegance
there's different kinds of skates. There's different types of movement. There's different types of the speed you have to have is different. You have to be leaner. It's different.
It's different.
It's not like in the Olympics if
all he was doing was skating around so that he could lift her when she needed it, that would have been something different. But it's not learning the routine. It's not like
he's not a guy from Costco, just getting the little lift out and helping you get the thing off the top shelf. He's there to do a job.
Where'd you get that? Can you get that on Amazon?
He's not an ice dancer, man. He's a hockey guy.
No, it was a bad idea, but I guess it was supposed to keep the plot moving. It was the way that they were going to be forced together.
And I figured that as much based off this cover, but where that happens is like here in the book. You go through all this book.
God.
You go through so much book before that even
There's
happens.
so
and
much
that's the
book.
primary plot point. And it doesn't happen till like 3/4 of the way through the book.
There's so
What
much
the
book.
actual fuck, guys?
There's so much book.
Like, there's a lot of things that could have been cut out. Like the
But you can tell she got better. She could tell she got better because look at the difference between these two.
Yes. Like, ugh.
Like this one is 400. Wait, what did I say? 429 pages, and this one is 383.
Yeah.
So she got better.
Or her editor did. One or the other.
One or the other.
That was mean. I'm sorry. I will take a Molly go to the corner for that one. That was really mean.
All right. That's all right. Money is a conversation throughout this book. Who has it and who doesn't. It plays a part in the power dynamics when it comes to Anastasia's relationships. Do you think this caused her to make poor decisions?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Don't you? Like, she was barely hanging on. She grew up poor.
She grew up not poor, but average.
Right. Well, okay. She felt she was poor based off of her surroundings.
Well,
right?
Because she was an ice skater, and those bitches are usually rich.
And that shit's expensive. That shit's expensive. Those skates are like $600. It's ridiculous.
And then you have to pay for classes and rink time.
And that's the practice skate. That's the practice
and traveling.
Not the skates you actually dance on. Because
costumes.
The skates you dance on. You know those scenes in Grey's when Meredith is saying one thing and Christina's saying another, but they're both having the same conversation together? That was just us for a moment.
But we were both following both conversations. So
exactly, because we know what we're talking about.
Exactly. I think the money allowed her to be manipulated, particularly by her partner, Aaron. I think Nate didn't care about money. You know, it's like that episode of Friends. You don't care about it because you have it. But he was never stingy with his money. He was always very generous. He footed the bill for a lot of things for his friends, and he wasn't doing it because he was the rich guy and could. He was just doing it because he has a generous heart. I thought what was interesting the most was there's a point in this book when Anastasia meets Russ for the first time, and he's leaving his job where he works.
Yeah.
I think it's like a bar. It's a bar. He works at a bar.
Yeah.
And he's kind of embarrassed because he's
got a job at a bar.
He's got a job, and none of his other friends really do. And he mentions being in a frat and how they all have more money than him. And listen, I was the poor sorority sister. Like, I got a discount on my dues because I did dishes in the house. Like, I did dishes for
That's insane.
Our sorority, so I could get a discount. Because I couldn't afford it. It was like $500 a semester, and that wasn't even for the cost of living. That's was just living there. It was just the membership.
I hope you enjoyed it. I really do, but that's insane. That's a lot of monies.
I have both good and bad memories of it.
Did you live in the house?
I did. I lived in the house my sophomore year. I did a study abroad my junior year, and so I actually ended up dropping out because you could either go inactive for dues or you could go inactive for activities. And I could not afford to pay dues while I was in a different country.
When you're already trying to pay for a different country.
Right. But I could only choose one. And I tried to work it out, and that just wasn't possible. But I'm Facebook friends with a lot of my sorority sisters and follow, like, watching their kids grow up and all that. And I still feel a sisterhood with them. I still proudly claim my sorority. So, you know, but yeah, I definitely, I had sorority sisters who also had to have jobs, and some had a really hard time because, like, one in particular, she was a waitress. And so a lot of our Saturday events, she would have to miss them to go to work. So she was being fined because she wasn't coming to the events.
So she could pay to be a part of the sorority.
So she could be a part of the sorority.
That's shit. Yeah. That's just shit, man.
It's really tough. And then if you go down the rabbit hole of, like, watching Rush in, like, Alabama sororities, particularly like University of Alabama, these girls wear, I'm not even exaggerating when I say
Expensive.
that they could have $10,000 plus of clothes and accessories on them.
That's wild.
And this is for recruitment, to recruit people. And then their houses are like 500 girls deep. You don't know people that way. Like my sorority was, I think we were maybe had like 120-ish girls, but I
Okay.
knew everybody because it wasn't that
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. I'm different. You know, I'm a
Are
little
you?
oddball. Yeah, a
Mhm.
smidge. You didn't
Mhm.
know that. So those things kind of scare me because being part of clubs in the past hasn't always paid off for me.
Well, I joined a sorority for a lot of different reasons, and I don't want to get into it right now, but
Yeah.
it was a good fit for me where I was. That was
That's
a good sorority for
good. That's
me.
wonderful.
But it was not a stereotypical sorority. Not every girl there was toothpick size or blonde, and it just wasn't stereotypical. We were a
Yeah.
very eclectic group of people. And
Yeah.
I liked that.
That's nice. That's nice. You know what frustrates me is because okay, we're totally off topic, but I want to continue this because I have a thought bubble. Um, Movies either portray sororities as either the clicky bitches,
Mhm.
i.e., Elle Woods, that kind
Mhm.
of thing,
Mhm.
or you get Animal House, Bunny, the House Bunny, that kind of
Mhm.
thing, where it's
Mhm.
all outcasts, and we don't get just like this normal portrayal of what it's like, really.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason, like with media and whatnot, we get these interesting outcomes.
Well, the issue is that they are still secret organizations. And so you can only see what they let you see. But
Yeah.
in a sorority, like, so I was in Alpha Gamma Delta. Each
Mm-hmm.
of those letters actually has a meaning. You don't learn those meanings until you're initiated. So you've
The
pledged to
secrets.
join this and you don't even know really what you're standing for.
You know
There's
all
a
the secrets.
there's a secret knock, there's a secret handshake, there's a
Most.
password. They are secret organizations. So the part of the sisterhood is that like only the sisters know this, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And there's something nice about that. I mean, I grew up in a house full of boys. I mean, I'm now again in a house full of boys.
Yeah,
It
you
was
are.
nice having a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they were all really great women.
That's
Um,
wonderful.
there were a few bitches, but I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
there's bitches
life.
everywhere. I
There's
mean,
bitches
I
everywhere.
was I was in my own kind of sorority called the military, and let me tell
Mhm.
you what, there's a
Mhm.
lot of bitches there, and not all of them are women. Okay,
Yeah. But it
next
is,
question.
people say it's
Yeah,
like buying your friends, and it kind of is.
yeah.
You pay
I
and
mean,
then you have this group of people, but
I'm glad it did what you needed for you.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
I didn't think of it as buying friends until I left and then they were no longer my friends.
Bitches.
Um
You heard
anyway.
me right, bitches.
Anyway, Nate's relationship with his father is very fractured, and we really see the big picture of it while they're on vacation
Mm-hmm.
visiting his house. We see differences in their families and how they see relationships because of it. So do you think this could be the reason for Nate's jealousy issues? Because he does
It's
get
100% of the reason for his jealousy issues.
Mhm.
Also, I think this stuff could have been more developed.
I agree.
Like, there was more there for the author to pick and pull
Hmm.
from. And
Hmm.
the fact that this wasn't more of a primary part of the story is kind of
Yeah.
annoying.
And there were some stories that like it was just like assumed we knew them, but we don't fucking know them. You gotta tell us.
Right.
You gotta tell us.
Right.
You wrote
We don't
429 pages and you wrote dual narration. So you
mhm.
could have told us his side more.
Like you could have gave us a lot more.
Yeah,
A lot more.
it wasn't
But
I feel like I knew Anastasia better than I knew Nate. And it's
yeah,
dual narration, so it shouldn't be that way.
I don't even think I remember how his mom died. I just know she died.
I don't know. She had cancer because
That's
dad
it.
cheated on mom while she
While
was
she
dying
had
of
cancer.
cancer.
Yes, yes,
That's why
yes,
Nate and his dad
yes.
didn't get along.
And that's why there's no pictures of her because of the dad's guilt. I'm back on track. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think we even learned that story until like well into the book. Like I think that was
Like they're at the house.
they're at the house when Anastasia learns that. Like I don't know. If you're going to go meet the parents, you should probably know more about each other. I say that as somebody that met my husband's parents after we'd only known each other for like 3 weeks. So
I'm not a good judge of things. I knew my husband's mom before I dated my husband, so
yeah,
like I was friends
I
with
don't
his
know. It's so
brothers.
funny to me because my favorite trope is Grumpy Sunshine, which makes sense because that's Tom and I,
Right.
and slow burn. But Tom and I didn't have a slow burn. He basically moved into my house a week after we knew each other, in my apartment, a week after we knew each other. Now, we did not have sex and at that time, but a month after we knew each other, we did. And I was a virgin. So that's pretty fast.
That is pretty fast. I mean, Matt and I got engaged after 6 months of being together.
Oh my
We were
gosh.
married into a year into it.
So a friend of mine here was married to her husband with just in a few months. He's Air Force, and they were married in like 4 months. And she's like, everyone thought we were crazy, but we've been together for 15 years and it worked out.
I mean, Matt and I are pushing 18.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with that.
We are rounding on the other half of 14, so we're going to be at 15 next year. But we've been together for almost 16 years, but married for almost 15. All right, so I want to talk about my issues with the inconsistencies in this book because...
Please. There's so many of them.
So you can definitely chime in, but I'm just going to go on a little tirade for a minute.
Please. Go ahead.
All right. The subject-verb agreement was such an issue in this. And if you're not an English nerd like I am, what that means...
Wait, I need to... She went on this whole rant in group chat, but I was stony balonies, and I was like, these are a lot of words right now, April. Continue on, friend. I just had to share that.
So subject-verb agreement is where you have to make sure that the tense of the verb matches the singular or pluralization of the noun. So, for example... the shoes are would be the verb there. The shoes are, because we have a plural plural noun. So the shoes are. The shoes is not correct. Okay. And there were multiple times in this book where the subject verb agreement was incorrect. I mean, multiple times.
I'm guilty of that, but I will hire a very fancy editor before I do shit.
But see, here's the thing. Your book doesn't just go through an editor, right? Your editor helps clean up the story and develop the story and pull out the story. There's a copy editor, okay? Yeah. And if you are on Olivia Dade's newsletter, the newest one that just came out in November, she talked about how she just finished the edits on her second book in the what's it called, Harlot's Bay series. I'm
excited for that.
Edits. Yeah, and now
I love Harlot's Bay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the character's name is Molly too, by the way. Olivia told me that one of her characters was named Molly because I mentioned that one of her characters being April. So
yeah.
But the subject verb agreement, like the grammar in here just was not good. Like there needed to be a better copy editor.
And don't come for us and be like, well, they're college kids. Of course they talk bad. Bullshit.
It wasn't their dialogue that was the problem. It was the descriptors in the narrative. So anyway, they kept talking about how she had brown hair, and then at the very end it was her light brown hair. And I was like, what color is her hair? Because if you look at the cover of the book, that's not dark brown hair. That's not brown hair. That's light brown hair.
Auburn. That's actually auburn.
It bothered me the whole time looking at this and hearing them describe it as brown hair. And then...
Okay, but they also make her sound half his size. That cover makes her look much taller.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say it's because she's wearing skates, but so is he.
But she's supposed to be like... She's supposed to be like a $1.15. Does that cover model look $1.15? Because that is not what a $1.15 looks like. She got thighs. Girl's got nice thighs.
Well, she's a skater. She's supposed to be really short, though.
I'm nitpicking.
And then I already mentioned this one, but what was JJ's sexuality? Like, I don't care.
Gay. I think he's gay.
You don't have to define it, but like, because they made such a point that he was getting all these women, then it was a guy at the end.
It felt like the joke was that JJ was getting all these women and they were picking on him for getting all these women when JJ's never with women. Maybe that's it. We weren't getting the joke.
In the epilogue, he definitely ended up with a guy. So
what's frustrating is she keeps writing these inside jokes in. Guys, we're not on the inside.
No. Show, not tell. Okay, so the verb tense kept changing, like mid-paragraph. We would go from past tense to present tense. And I was just like, don't even get me started on the fact that there was sometimes present perfect tense. And I was just like, you can't just do this.
Guys, if you didn't know, April used to be an English teacher.
And like, I love reading your stuff, but every time I read your stuff, I'm like, am I supposed to copy edit this? Or do you want feedback on the story overall? Because if you want me to edit it, I'll sit down with a red pen and I will edit it for you. But that's not what you want. You want me to tell you my thoughts on the story. And honestly, I'm so sorry. I haven't had a chance to read the one that you sent us. This week was crazy.
I'm not worried about that. I've been on a fucking roll, though.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm in I'm past 12K. I am going hard, guys. It doesn't do this much.
Emma Barry's giving me feedback, which is awesome.
Emma Barry's giving me feedback.
It's awesome. So another thing, I've said this on here many times that I don't really like lazy writing, and this to me was lazy writing. And one of the things to me that felt lazy is like, this author is a British author. She's from England, okay? And she wrote this book and set this book in the United States. And she uses words and phrases that we don't use here. It was the same problem that I had with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we don't call somebody's name. We don't say, she's called Molly. Her name is Molly. Or she is Molly. We don't call. That's not how this works. And this woman clearly did not research what dorm rooms are like in universities in the United States, because this is not fucking what they're like.
No, she made them live in penthouse apartments with pin pads and this is the safest campus on American soil I have ever heard of.
Now, I have lived in dorms before where there are codes to get into the building, or like a key fob or something like that, but not on each individual door.
That's cute. I lived in military housings where the doors were always unlocked and there might be a guy at the front door.
Cool. All right.
Might be a guy at the front door.
My final question for you is also, well, I have one more question, but my final one of these like inconsistencies is Anastasia becomes a motherfucking gold medalist 2 years after this book takes place. And she becomes a gold medalist as a soloist, not a partner.
This girl has spent her whole life, childhood, all the way through 4 years of college, training with a partner, learning how to do partner lifts and partner skating. Part of partner skating is learning how to balance your weight and transition from person to person. There is a smidge of chance she would make it to finals and nationals and possibly Olympics.
But she wouldn't win the whole motherfucking thing.
No. That's why this book's a fantasy novel.
And, like, it really bugged me, too.
The safety of this college campus was 100% a fantasy novel.
Yes. It bothered me, too, that it was just so, like, cavalier that she was a gold medalist, that she won a gold medal 2 years after. No big deal. And the author made a point that she couldn't do the specific move.
But also,
and if she couldn't do it, she's not competing in solo. She could do it in pairs, but not in solo.
But also, like, okay, really fucking irritated me. Now, this happens. I've seen it happen in basketball, in the NBA, in the NFL. Kids get offers to play, but wait and go to college. When it comes to NHL, don't quote me on, don't, like, I am, like, real certain. I have never seen an NHL player just sit on a contract for 4 years.
So they do draft from college, just like all the other professional sports do. But NHL and MLB, Major League Baseball, the two sports generally do recruit right out of high school. You can't, and basketball too. I mean, LeBron James
is playing with his son right now. He's playing with his kid.
Really?
Yes, they're both on the Lakers right now. It's really wild. I'll put an article in. It's really cool.
But he skipped college and went right into the NBA. And football, the reason you can't do that is because they have an age requirement. You have to be, I don't know if it's an age requirement or 2 years out of high school, but if you don't get a scholarship to a good program, a lot of them go to like community colleges that have sports teams, and then they walk on.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think NFL just wants to make sure you're fully cognitive before you get
before they scramble your brains.
Yeah. You have to be fully cognitive to accept this job before we let you have it. My problem is I don't think an NHL team is going to hold a seat on the bench for a guy to go to college for 4 years.
And I don't know that they held it for 4 years. That's never really established that it was 4 years. At least his entire senior year.
He made it sound like, from my memory, they offered it to him out of high school, but he wanted to go to college first.
I think you're right, but that's dumb.
That's dumb.
Maybe that happens in soccer in England or football, but that does not fucking happen here.
Again, welcome to America.
Don't write. I mean,
America.
Even give her a thing. She even says, she says
you don't even have the energy to like give her a mark for the singing. No, just give it to her.
She says, accidentally giving multiple characters the same name, which, by the way, the names were very similar in this, or using
Sasha and Sasha,
or using English sayings that nobody understands in her American books. Then stop writing American books. Just set them in fucking England. Okay. So will you read Hanna Grace again and final thoughts?
No. I'm good. Unless you put her on pod again. No.
I'm not going to put her on pod, but I am going to read the sequel to this because it's
I wish you well.
It's a good smutty summer, brain break. In the summer, I just read romance novels. Katie and I do Smut Girl Summer, and then, I just read
I will not. Novels. I will not. I was too old for this book. There's a lot of inaccuracies, and I'm glad to be done with it, and I'm glad it's no longer on our TBR.
Yeah, I don't know what everyone's seeing in this. Maybe we're just too old for TikTok.
No, I think we read too much. We read way too much, because look at the books that people praise, and we're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's not just this. There is several books we have gotten from the socials. We're like, what the actual fuck are you people talking about?
Yeah, I know.
So it's not us, it's them. We're not the problem. You people are.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm glad you guys are reading, though.
But we have found some good things on social media. Like, that's how we found Olivia.
That's true. Olivia Dade. We got Nikki Payne. Like, we have a lot of great social media books. It's just, we're better readers than you guys. But I'm proud you guys are reading, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got. Can we talk about what we're doing for the rest of the month to finish off?
I would love to talk about what we got coming up.
So before I go through our book list, I want to tell you all that Nurse Katie and I are going to do a winter version of Smut Girl Summer that we're calling Warm Winter Bitches. And it will be during December, so this month, and in January, because we're on a pod break for almost all of January. We will have an episode the very last Tuesday in January. We'll have a guest author. More info about that will come later. But check it out. We're going to read some really good ones. We are going to read. Can I go through that list? Do you care, Kate?
Please,
Molly, if I go through my list?
I'm going to be writing, gang. So do not disturb will be on at the Big's house.
Well, Yeah, and we asked you if you wanted to join us, but
Oh, no.
Katie and I enjoy the smutty books more than you do anyway. So
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna read. Well, we're reading the Under the Mistletoe collection right now, and we're both almost finished with it. But in case you haven't heard, there's this audiobook, or there's this novella short story collection. Olivia Dade's part of that. So
Olivia
it's on
Dade, Allie Hazelwood,
Tessa Bailey, and then two authors I hadn't heard of.
Okay.
I'm on the last one right now. Olivia's was the best so far. Allie's was second. The other two,
I'm in the middle of Allie's right now.
it's good.
I liked Olivia's.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do
Dick
How
jokes.
My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn, Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy, The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox, Pucking Around by Emily Rath, Slaying the Frost King by Candace Robinson, The Cock Down the Block by Amy Award, and Snowed In with an Alien Warlord by Nancy Cummings.
You know, I should have grabbed that book we saw at Novel Grounds. That would have been perfect for this. The one where they're the whole cast and crew of the Hallmark movie or the Hallmark adjacent movie is sick.
But it's a porn star?
And they have to bring in porn stars instead. I wish I could remember that name of that book now.
We'll have to link that below because I know exactly what you're talking about.
I wanted to read that so bad. The way she sold it, I was like, sold, but I can't buy another book.
Maybe we should read it for Smut Girl Summer next summer. Okay, so for the rest of this month for Book Besties, not Warm Winter Bitches, here's what we're doing. Next week, we're going to talk about The Matzo Ball by Jean Meltzer. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be good. I have high hopes for this one. We're going to do Love Light Farms by D.K. Borison. This is a very popular book, and a lot of people have recommended it. Like, personally to me, one of my very good friends read it and told me. Then we're going to have two guests, Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb, to talk about their book, Christmas with the Queen, which actually just came out in November. Get yourself a copy.
I finished this today. Oh my goodness.
I collect postcards, so the fact that Heather put this postcard in the book.
Oh, that's the one you have?
Which one did you get? Oh, wow. Look at this. I have the royal family.
Yours!
Isn't it cool?
This is from when she gave the first televised
Christmas
speech, which they talk about in the book.
Nice. But this is like the queen, the king consort, or prince consort rather, sorry, our current king, England's current king, and the oldest daughter. It's pretty cool. And then we are going to end season 7 with Olivia motherfucking Dade. This is going to be a different episode because we're not actually going to talk about one book, but this is her most recent book, At First Spite. It came out
a good book.
In February of 2024. It is so good.
It's funny. She literally bought a house and is stuck in it.
It's so funny.
It is so good.
It's so funny. And so we're going to talk to her kind of about like all of her books and her new novella. And
I'm excited to talk to her about writing.
What she's got coming out, because she has some books coming out next year. She actually has 2 that should be releasing next year.
No big deal.
And one is a paranormal romance called Zomrom-Com.
So wild. So wild, Olivia.
I love her.
I'm really excited to talk to her about process and how she gets to where she gets, because some deep shit, man. Deep shit.
She's really, really talented.
That's
all I've got. That's all I've got.
Yeah, me too.
I'll see you next week.
Stay warm, folks.
Yeah, it's cold here.
Yeah.
See you next week. Bye. Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of April and Molly, not those of anyone else. Today's book was Icebreaker by Hanna Grace. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins. And music is Sleep Sweetly by Prigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.